All right. So, allow me to respond to this new map video like a normal person first, and then I'll explain why certain elements might be triggering to some Tribes Ascend players. The mountain map preview featuring mountains that look quite familiar. Someone might know. Here we go. These conduits alone, these are the center points of the map. Tell me how I know. These towers is what it's all about. But first we'll focus on the terrains. It's beautifully sloped actually. There are multiple levels of height. It still zeroes out here and there. More on this ramp later. Nice to see like the structure, like these are actually spaceships or whatever. And beautiful outdoor terrain, out of the map, out of reach for now. Anyway, back to the conduit. Really want to focus on that, don't we? And here we have some skiing. So again, some smaller hills, some larger hills, nicely interconnected. This is better, this is good. Was this before my mapping video? I think so. Mine's been a little bit too recent to have any real impact, but we have higher hills. We have a little bit of reminiscence of what this map might be based upon. So this is where the normal review ends, and I have to go back into history to a map named Bella Omega. And if you are unfamiliar, then I will make you familiar. Or it started as a bit of a meme when we would scream to the heavens like in a streetcar named Desire. Bella! For Bella was taken from us. Not once. Twice. But let me show you. We go back 11 years to where video quality was questionable, to the Tribes Ascend beta. Familiar towers, somewhat flattened ground, however, but one of the larger maps that Tribes Ascend had to offer at the time, and the little spawn towers there, and of course the speed cap still very much in effect, capping out around 200, so faster than that. You see the regen kicking in, none of this jump, and there you see the tower in the distance as well. A rather pedestrian map, but people liked it. But there were some issues with the physics, I believe. This man's going to crater. The towers were complex bases, multiple stories, and everybody loved just going into the generator room. Yes, that is a power-up nugget, that's true, yes. Anyway, so nice sloping hills, high speeds. Everybody loved Bella, but because of the issues it had and the complexities, Bella was taken away. It was then, I believe, during the open beta, I'm not quite sure, and the details don't really matter, that Bella returned. And this is the Bella I know. Tribes Ascend in early days. Here we are. I'm just going to pause this real quick, as you can piece together through the pixels. Look at that terrain. Look at the densely packed, overlapping hills, almost no 0 points on the map whatsoever, no flat terrain, and the bases grand and beautiful, embedded within. This is now a few months later, and here we have a person actually using the terrain, which didn't happen so often. For this tunnel here on the right, but many people's tribes' journey started and ended in these conduits straight down into the generator room. This is what people did forevermore went in here, didn't care about the beautiful terrain outside and the possibilities, because of course the generator had to be down, otherwise the base was nigh impenetrable and very limited capping routes were available at the time. For reasons, again, for outrage generators, I used the wall hack, then I took an arrow to the knee. I'm in this video? Wait, I was typing. What? I was playing in this match? Greth. Vices and hacking, get off it. There were very good players on this. Oh my. Synapse unlocked. I just grabbed this over Google. See, I was there, everyone. I was there. He took her from me. I love this map. Very funny joke, I bet so. Oh yeah, it was the the arrow to the... He's in the generator again. Anyway, we're getting... The terrain was beautiful. But still, she was taken away. Then it took a very long time. Almost, you could say, in the twilight of Tribes Ascend already. One of the... Not the final maps, but at least... Oh, they tried things. These are capping routes on Daylight Bella Omega. You see the terrain reworked because of the issues with dead stopping and hanging from the terrain. Yes, you see. Flowy, and it was sand all along. It was just a moon night. There you are. Still good terrain. The base is very complex, using the generator for force fields. A lot of things were still tried and rebalanced. There was a conduit running through the entire base, which... Flashbang warning. I made this before the rework 11 years ago. This is one of my first forays into map design. And this is kind of what... I'm not gonna claim credit, it was just funny. There you are. He's pointing out a sniper spot, which were rather pervasive. Also, Bella Mega first had a sandstorm that would obscure parts of the entire map, which made capping a lot easier and sniping. It was a sniping balancing method anyway that required there to be a no sandstorm Bella Omega as well, because of course nobody could run it because it lagged their computer out. So that was fun. He's pointing out lines, I think. Wow, yeah, that's incredible. So the bases have been made open, so they couldn't be shut down, so the generator wasn't required. It's still, well, this is where Bella remained, but the Bella we knew long since gone. This map was still incredibly fast. It was one of the bigger ones, but the balance was never really there, as once you got going with Tribes Ascends, hard to gain speed, easy to maintain speed. You can see this guy flying around. Beautiful. Then we return to the video at hand, and now you understand why seeing these conduits, seeing these bases after 11 years, almost 12 years now, there is a profound promise here and a knowing from the developers, because I know, hang on, I'm gonna pause. There is a lot of the people working on this. A lot of the people working on this are the same. You know who you are, sitting in front of your desk. I know this is not just a repurposing of assets you had lying around, because these have been remade. These are not the same. You know what you are doing. Then, I just want to point out the funniest thing. Bagger Wiggins made a funny joke post a couple of days ago, right when I posted my mapping video, which I'd worked on for 6 hours, and then he had also a map suggestion. I'm like, oh, interesting. A like-minded individual, perhaps. Note this is map number 2, so we had one before. They take feedback, is what's important here. And then my final point, which is a tradition that started with Tribes Ascend, and I can see you're continuing. Most map generators, I can tell how this is made, by the way, because I have those programs now and I'm neck deep in them. You always get these vistas in the background that aren't for skiing, they're for looking at. And I know because that terrain is going to be unskiable. It's going to be spiky as hell up close. Trust me, I've managed to make terrain from those generators actually playable without being warped to hell. But I find it ironic, and I understand this is not the scope of the game currently. We are talking about small-scale competitive, larger-scale public modes. This is not the scope of this game. I understand this. However, as a counter to this, I just want to allow you to see that it is possible. For a different game or different game mode, you can make realistic sized mountains. Have them be playable in another game type. This is not for CTF, but it is there. It exists. And with that, enough said about this. Thank you for helping me relive this trauma. And see you in the next video.